Michelle Shire has lived in Bucks County her entire life. She grew up in Doylestown, attended Bucks County Community College, and then Bloomsburg University, where she received her degree in management and marketing. She currently lives in Percy, where she is a partner and sales manager for Per Diem Space. She brings a solid foundation in marketing, sales management, business administration, and retail expertise. Michelle is excited to help business owners evaluate their needs and strategize ways to best meet them. Utilizing partnerships with industry professionals, Per Diem connects business owners to trusted professionals to help elevate their company to success. Per Diem also provides conference rooms, events, co-working, and shared and private office space for small business to use. In an atmosphere which allows members to collaborate, create, and connect. Per Diem is more than just an office space. They are an incubator for entrepreneurial leadership. Michelle also works in economic development for Barth Consulting Group. In this capacity, she works with municipalities to facilitate economic growth and downtown revitalization. Please welcome Bucks alumnus, Michelle Shire.
Thank you so much. You stole my comments. Well, first of all, I'd like to say it's an honor to be here with everybody tonight, and you guys are amazing. What an inspiration. Certainly when I was your age, I wasn't nearly doing anything as inspirational and entrepreneurial. My journey becoming an entrepreneur has been, I went to Bucks County Community College, Bloomsburg, and then when I was growing up, you immediately were like, where do I go next? Went to the corporate world. How do I get a job? And I found myself quickly into the retail industry. I worked for Lord & Taylor as a general manager. I was a merchandise manager for Macy's department stores, and I found myself in financial planning and store analyst. And I worked in a cube and I worked in stores, and that was great, and I learned a ton. I would never get back any of that experience. Excuse me. But I found myself that every day you were working 60 hours a week, and your life really wasn't your own. I had a family, and I found that, it was time to kind of step away from the corporate world and find what I wanted to do and spend some time with my family. With that being said, I started doing some side hustles, is what I'm going to call it, a little bit of entrepreneurship, and found myself doing different things along the way. Well, within the last 2 years, my children are of high school age, and I found myself wanting to do more, and I connected with a nonprofit organization in Percy called Sisters U. And with our nonprofit roots, we decided that Per Diem Space would be a wonderful place to open a co-working event space. This would allow for entrepreneurs to come and use shared space. And right now, a lot of people are like, what's shared space? What's co-working space? Instead of having a brick and mortar, having a lease, the trend is to work and collaborate in a space with others. So you can have the opportunity, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a startup, you can work in a desk space, or you can rent a private office. But the millennials right now, they're going out into the professional world and becoming entrepreneurs. Unlike in the past, it wasn't as much of a focus, or they're starting to work with startups that already existed. So one of the things that we found our story was very impactful, and I think today with the social entrepreneurship, is community matters. This is why we started Per Diem Space. Our nonprofit roots prepared us to bring the spirit of community to an office environment. We realized that small businesses need more than just a desk space. They need a place to nurture their ambition. Per Diem Space provides a work atmosphere in which allows for memberships to collaborate, create, and connect in a way where traditional offices fall short. Per Diem is more than just office space. We're an incubator for entrepreneurial leadership. And we bring future ideas of work to historic streets of Pennsylvania. So that's my latest endeavor in the entrepreneurship world, and I really wish all of you the very best. And if those of you aren't familiar with what shared space or co-working space is, I think I wrote down some stats. In 2017, marked the largest growth in co-working, and it produced an all-time high in the number of spaces as well as members. Projected to see 26,000 spaces and 3.8 million members by 2020. This means that people are traditionally going to be working independently. 50% of the population by 2020 will no longer work in an office. The landscape of the traditional office is changing, which really, it's a thing where people want to be more independent. They want to work on their own. The other big driving factor, as I mentioned before, when the millennials are working and coming out of the professional world and becoming entrepreneurs. The benefit to co-working and shared working together is independent professionals and startups brought together can benefit from sharing creative ideas and knowledge and resources and services. When I was working in the corporate world, you did collaborate with people, but you had your own office. You didn't necessarily work together with other people from different industries and share ideas. This is something that we're all finding out in the world, that it's really more beneficial. And also to, we're at Per Diem Space, one of the things what we offer that's a little bit different, we call it our wrinkle, is we have something called a small business in the box. So what that means is for someone like you guys, if you're a new entrepreneur, you're starting out, or you're already in your business, one of the things that we offer is we have business partners. We have an accountant, an attorney, graphic designers, we have website designers, marketers. All those people already belong in our space and they're our partners. And we trust what they do. So if you come into us and we talk to you, we find out what your needs are, you don't have to figure out, who am I going to go for website design? Who am I going to go to help market? How am I going to get my LLC or sole proprietorship? These are the type of things that we're offering. And it's a little bit different than other co-working spaces. And we're really proud of that piece because we want to help young entrepreneurs. And people that are young, old, whatever we are. I'm certainly not 16 or 22. So, you know, I'm turning to 50 in the near future. So I'm finding my entrepreneurship is a new venture to the other side of my career. But anybody has any questions in reference to co-working space, shared space? Anything from you guys?
How hard is it as a business that you're running yourself, not just what you're offering the community of people who use your space, but how about your business model in terms of how you create sustainability in your own business to then give back and drive more value into your members?
Right, well, that's a very good question. One of the things is, I think we all know being an entrepreneur is not for the weary. You have to really strategize. And one of the things that we used is instead of a business model, we're using a business canvas, something that you can look up and check out on your own. We can help you with it. One of the things we find is you have to have multiple revenue streams and creating those relationships with people, connecting and making things of value. You can't just say, we offer co-working space, we offer a private space. You have to give people something of value first so they understand you might have to give something of value 6, 7 times before they take action to come in. And also too, having a multitude of services. Not only at our space, you can rent a desk, you get free coffee, you get water, you get snacks, you can scan, you can print. We have telephone service, mailbox. So additional services to realize it's all in one space. So that helps us additional revenue streams and helps us continue to thrive as a business.
Great. Well, I can tell you as a running a business myself, I use several different co-working spaces. I've gone through the process of having to be a bit of a nomad, so is my team. So as you move as a startup, you then start to centralize eventually, and co-working spaces are great. The other thing I love about co-working spaces is because we are nomadic a bit, is that we can actually be month to month. So if I want to have somebody get a space in a new city and hire them there, we can have them go to a co-working space. If they want to grow there, we can scale up, we can scale down, and we don't need to sign a lease, because as a business, if you sign a lease, you owe that money in month 12, just like you owe that money in month 1. And that's really nervous when you don't have cash flow and revenue that's predictable. So I think that's a part of it, is people are getting smarter and not trying to get an ivory tower with an office. They're putting their money into creating value into the business. So would you agree?
Yes, very much. And to piggyback on that is we can customize many co-working spaces to your needs. And what we're finding is people don't want that long-term commitment because it is scary. And when you're just starting out, you know what you can afford, and we'll back you into that. And as you grow and change, and we've seen people where we're incubating out. So that's another, great thing. People have come to us to use our space for a temporary period of time, and then they're ready to open up their brick and mortar. They're ready to have a big office because they built the revenues and they understand where they
Absolutely. We used to have a co-working space where it was private desks and everybody was mixed with everybody. And then we upgraded to a private office and you never feel, felt like a big dog. It was an upgrade. It was nice. But I love co-working spaces. What do you think, what stage does a startup need to be if they're going to invest some of their own money, revenue? What stage do you typically see come into your space?
We've seen a lot in the last year and a half, I'll be honest. We do see people that have already had many much like you, their idea established. They understand part of what their business plan is, and they already understand how they're going to advertise, whether it's website, whether it's brick and mortar. But you do need to have those things in place. And the other thing is what type of business entity. We can help connect you to those people, but understanding what do you think you want to be, or do you need help with that?
And as we wait for our judges to come out, I have another question for you.
Sure.
What do you think in terms of co-working space and how a company that makes a product like Drip here, someone who needs some manufacturing or some inventory space, is that a solution that co-working space offers, or is that something where they should look elsewhere?
I think it would depend on how much. Personally, like for example, we have somebody who actually manufactures things, and it's a small scale at this time, and we can support that. I think I would definitely explore it. The co-working space that I'm a partner in is only 1,100 square feet on each floor, but I think there's definitely an opportunity. We rent out 2 closets to somebody that they can store their goods in. So if you're starting small and you want to use it, you can fill it, and I think that's definitely an opportunity. Yes.
Fill up your basement and then do business in the co-working. So everybody give it a round of applause.
Thank you very much for having me.